to the show. This is another live stream, and as promised on the previous live stream that we did, I am doing a vertical live. So let's get on with this. Let's talk about Songbird, Flare, XRP, the entire connection, and what it means for everybody, right? So if you're here for the first time, guys, my name is Sham. This is Xerox Files, of course, and the truth is always out there. So there's going to be a few things I'm going to talk about here, and I believe that they will kind of open your minds up, and you will see what it means for us to either own Songbird or either own XRP or either own Flare, right? And ultimately what it means if we own all three of them, right? So I think a lot of us look at these coins as independent coins, as like each separate coin. One second. So let me just get the chats on right. We look at them as independent coins, but they're actually not. Internally, they're pretty much connected. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a history on these coins so that way you can understand a little bit more, right? If you are here on the live, do hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to grow the community to at least 10,000 subscribers. And but if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. Just at least hit that like button so the video can go on the algorithm. So let's talk about this, right? Because there's a deep connection that a lot of people are kind of missing out. And I think once you understand this deep connection, it will make total sense to you, right? What it means for holding SGB Songbird, or what it means to hold Flare, or what it means to hold XRP, or all three of them, right? So a little bit of a history. We're going to go back to XRP. So XRP has been around for a very long time. It's, you know, as a network, it's got a purpose. It's pretty much a peer-to-peer network cryptocurrency, very similar to Bitcoin. And so it just has one function, you know, transfer, buy, sell, whatever, that's it. It doesn't have a smart contract ability, right? So there's no function there to add the smart contract. Of course, they can upgrade the system, upgrade the network, and redo it all over again, but that's going to cause a lot of disruption. So down the line, as we move along, obviously smart contract is a big thing. You know, a lot of people didn't think that was a great thing, but right now smart contract is a big thing. So based on that, XRP's realized that, look, a lot of these new blockchains that are coming out, they are launching this EVM compatibility, right? Smart contracts, multi-chain functionalities, and you know, they need to be on board as well. But of course, to redo everything, that's a lot of work, right? But there are other projects out there who are already working on technologies to try and incorporate multi-chains. To name one, right? I'm not going to name many, just to name one, it was Polkadot. So Polkadot decided to create this multi-chain EVM compatibility thing. They haven't succeeded fully yet, but they created the Polkadot parachains. And during the parachains, they allowed many of the projects to use the technological, like the infrastructure that they had, in order to start building for this interoperability, multi-blockchain compatibility. Comes along Flare, right? I'm going to do the connection in a bit, right? So comes along Flare. Now, Flare obviously needs to build this, but in order for Flare to build this, Flare needs a test network, right? So back in the old days, right, you know, when miners used to go mining somewhere, because obviously they need to test for gases and whatnot, right? Anything harmful. So they used to send a canary or take a canary with them. And if the canary died, because it had such a small lung capacity, if it died, then obviously they knew that there's something harmful there. It's not safe for people. They don't go there. So Songbird is the canary network, right? Or the test network of Flare. Understand this. Flare didn't launch with Polkadot parachains, but Songbird did. So it raised capital through that. It got the funding that it required through that, and some technological layers as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Understand where I'm coming from? So, but the difference between Songbird and normal test networks is that with normal test networks, they're just dummy coins. You can't actually trade them. They're completely dumb coins, right? And you can print infinite amount of coins. But with Songbird, I remember, I think it was about 15 billion tokens or something. That was it. There's a finite amount of tokens available. There's not going to be one more or anything like this, right? So we know that we have a limited supply, which is a great thing. It's technically a cryptocurrency, but it's going to be used as a canary network, as a test network for the Flare blockchain. Now, what they're attempting to do is not only work with EVM compatibility like most of them, because remember, XRP is not EVM. So this is the part a lot of people miss out, right? XRP is not EVM. So they're trying to bring that compatibility layer so that XRP can also be traded on that, right? So if you want to build a smart contract for XRP or to use XRP, you can do it on Flare. To test all of those, you test it on Songbird, right? So obviously with Songbird, as a test network, you go out there, developers go out there, they, grind on it, they do whatever they need to do, testing, whatnot. But in order for them to launch and whatnot, they have to use some sort of Songbird SGB tokens. So that does give us some tradability and valuation. So we can actually go out there and buy, sell, trade, do whatever, and kind of reduce the supply. The more supply we can reduce, the more we buy and hold. The more, if there's more demand on more testing and more building on the network, then ultimately the price goes up. Developers will end up paying a higher price to buy these tokens in order to do their testing, and we end up making money. So there is this plus point there, right? I see Cozy17, who is bro yapping to? Everybody, right? But more importantly, what you need to understand, this yapping goes to my community. So this question earlier on today came from a community member on Discord. So I hope you appreciate this, that I am talking to my community members who, even if they don't watch it now, they'll watch it later, right? So whether they're coming here or not, that's a whole different story. I'm not too concerned about that. Most of my videos, I usually do a live stream so the video goes out straight away, because when you try and upload certain things, the man I'm talking about who asked the question, there you go. Cozy17 Faisal is the one who asked me the question, and he's here right now. Salam, my brother. So I hope you're watching it from the beginning, Faisal. If not, then watch it again. But I'm trying to explain what Flare network is, what Songbird is, and what XRP is, and the connection between them, right? So Songbird. Now, Songbird obviously is your canary network, your test network, and of course we can benefit from this because of the way it's been designed, because of the way it was launched. So it is an actual cryptocurrency, right? Absolute sorry bro, just caught it now. I can't go back on this live setup. No problem, just stick around, no worries. So I'm kind of reiterating anyway. So Songbird is a canary network for Flare, like a test network. So that's where all the developers are going to build their projects and then battle test it out before they go onto the Flare network, right? So any interoperability, any multi-blockchain stuff they want to do, any cross-chain connections they want to do, or any whatever, DeFi, whatever they want to do, right? They're going to test it and they're going to try and break it on Songbird. So when you see projects launching on Songbird, don't jump on them. They're all test networks, right? These are all test projects. But keep an eye out for that same project on the main network, which is the Flare network. Now, Flare network, a lot of people don't know that Flare network was funded by XRP. Why? Because XRP needs smart contract, right? So why rework XRP? It's a lot of work. Well, why do that? Why not create a middle ground, a protocol in between? Obviously have another coin up with that, Flare coin, but have a protocol that allows you to give smart contract functionality to XRP. So even if XRP is not doesn't have the function of smart contracts, in the Flare network you can still use that, right? You can still bind it and you can use that. You can use Bitcoin in the Flare network. A lot of people don't know this. Of course, you can use Ethereum, all the other EVM stuff, right? You can use those as well, right? So technically, it just opens up as many doors as you can imagine, right? Wherever your imagination can take you, all the doors open for you. So that's what Flare is, right? And that's the deep connection that I wanted to talk about. So ultimately, what you have to understand, Flare is XRP, but they didn't rebrand it into XRP or whatever because they can't, right? But at some stage, maybe they might decide to merge them. You never know. But I don't think they have to, because why would you? If you've got a golden egg laying goose, right? Why would you want to get rid of it, right? Because XRP is that golden egg laying goose, right? For many people, for the holders, even for the founders, right? it lays golden eggs, right? So if you have a second coin, which is the Flare network, and that also brings you more money, well, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. But that's where I see, like, that's the connection that I'm seeing. So I wanted to kind of take you guys back a little bit and make you understand that, look, is it going to be worth us investing into Songbird? To be honest, yeah, we can make money out of it, right? But depends on how many people are holding, depends on the demand, right? In the short term, right, within this bull market or in this hyper parabola, whatever we want to call it, right, that is coming very soon. Are we going to make money? Yes. Every coin that we buy or hold, anything we look at right now will pump, right? There's no ifs and buts. Everything will pump. How much, we don't know. Some might even do 100%, some might do 200%, some might do 1,000%, right? We don't know. But that's not the problem here, right? The way I'm looking at it is, can we make money? Yes, we can make money. Are we going to make money on the Flare network? I think we're going to make a lot of money on the Flare network as well, because potentially Flare network is worth a little bit more than Song. So if I was going to choose between Flare, Songbird, and XRP right now, today, right, I'll be looking for the highest amount of percentage I can make. And for me, I think I might be able to make a higher amount of percentage, right, from any hypes or whatever on Songbird, because it's so cheap. So you can chuck $100 and like make probably $1,000. And by the way, guys, none of this is financial advice, but I think you can chuck $100 and make $1,000 out of that. Whereas with Flare, I think if you chuck $100, you might make $500. So understand where I'm coming from. And then the same applies if you chuck $100 onto XRP, or I feel that you're probably going to make $300, right? So understand where I'm coming from. Which one's going to give you the highest gains, right? So this is just now, right? Just because of the hype and all of that's going on. That's what I believe. In the long run, what would I like to hold, right? And what am I actually holding, right, from day one? XRP, I didn't buy at day one, so I'm going to be transparent with you guys. And I have nothing against XRP. I just didn't buy it. But funny thing is, I had Songbird from day one. And it gets even more funnier. When Flare Network launched, I got a 1-to-1 airdrop for the amount of XRP I was already holding. You see where I'm coming from? So for me, I'm still holding those bags. I've never got rid of them. I'm still holding them. If I want to do anything in the future, and I feel that there's going to be this whole Pandora's box opening, right, with Flare, and I believe it could be opening a Pandora's box, right? Of course, other companies are trying. I'm not going there, but you're just going to focus on Flare and Songbird. I would put my biggest bags on Flare, because I think once all the testing and all of that is done, right, and I'm being realistic with you, developers do whatever they need to do, the interest is going to go away, because the big projects that have been tested on Songbird are going to launch on Flare, and that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. What does Flare do? Flare allows me to, buy, sell projects with probably XRP, stake, do whatever, so many other stuff, right, directly on the protocol in a decentralized way. It allows me to do that. XRP is not going to allow me to do that, and I can't do it on the test network. I can do it on Flare. I want to be on Flare. Does that make sense, right? So it's like the middle ground, the best of both worlds. That's where I want to be, right? So if I am looking at, like, in the future, because I look, a lot of you guys who watch me, maybe some of you guys are new. So by the way, guys, if you're new, my name is Sham, this is 0x5. The truth is always out there. I do live streams and whatnot, but I always make sure I talk about the future, because I'm always looking at the macro stuff, right? So the way I'm looking at it, my strategy is, okay, whatever happens, whatever I got right now, and I'm going to talk about the general crypto market as well. Obviously, I've got my stash that I need to hold this season. Of course, when it's the right time for me, when I feel it's the right time for me, when I've made enough, I'm going to dump it and I'm going to exit the market. You might say, why the hell would I exit the market? You're not a hodler. I am a hodler. I hodl during a bear market, right? And I dump during a bull market. It's a very simple logic, right? So for me, I tend to go out and on the top of the market or near to the top of the market, whatever I feel is right, I will dump whatever or everything basically, and then try and catch it back up in the bottom, or start dollar cost averaging down to as far as it goes, and then when it starts to reverse, I'll dollar cost average back in. So I'll play this double whammy, right? So I'll go down and I'll be dollar cost averaging all the way down, and then when I see a reversal, I'll be dollar cost averaging all the way back up again. Ultimately, all I want to do is accumulate double the quantity of whatever I want, right? My favorite coins. And what I tend to do is, regardless whether we're in a bull market or a bear market, I'm always planning ahead. right? And that means I could be planning 2, 3, 4 months, maybe even a year ahead, right? I might sit down today and say, I'm going to buy this coin in 2025. I'm going to buy this coin in 2026. That's the kind of a person I am. So most of the stuff I do, people who know me on Discord and whatnot, and who come to watch my live streams and this and that, they know I'm always macro. I'm always talking about the future, right? So based on that, I'm making a plan. So I've already made a plan. I'm going to go fairly heavy next season. So I've talked about next season. This season, I originally didn't own any. But I was gifted some recently, so I do have some XRP, but I wasn't originally holding any XRP because my plan was to go heavy next season, right? I wanted to pick it up when it was, at the bottom that it can be, because I want maximum gains. You know what I mean, right? Because I want to hodl. I want to buy as many as I can during the bloodiest of times, and I want to hodl the entire bear market to the top of the bull market when I start dumping it again, because I want maximum gains, right? So during that time, I will also consider taking Flair as part of my portfolio as well, right? Of course, BTC and other stuff, right? But I'm not here for that, right? But the point is I'm always planning ahead. So looking at what's happening right now, I want to obviously observe the market. I want to see where the market goes for us. If the market, decides to pump a particular coin, it comes on everybody's radar, then next season, it has a higher potential to do even better. Right? Remember, a lot of these coins, they haven't even reached their launch price, right? Forget all-time high. They haven't even reached their all-time their launch price, right? So our first target would be to get to the launch price. Like Songbird, I think launch price was like 45 cents. Currently sitting at 0.009. That's like a freaking meme coin, right? But that is acceptable because obviously when you have 15 billion tokens, yeah, you are going to see a different price, right? And then you've got Flare Network currently sitting at 0.23, so it's like 2 cents, right? Which is not bad because that was quite high. So I think it's, if I'm correct, right, I'm going to look at it right now, right? What was its peak? I just want to see its peak. What was its peak? 15 cents. So from 15 cents to 2 cents is not bad, all right? Compared to Songbird, which technically became a freaking meme coin to me, right? Because that's what happened. My balance was like 99.9% down, but am I still holding? Yes, I am. Do I believe in it? I do believe in it. As I said, there are certain reasons why I believe in it, right? Earlier on, as I said, if more and more people come onto the network, because that's what matters. The network effect matters. And a lot of people miss out the network effect, right? Network effect is not just you buying and holding, you, that one person. No, you don't make much of a difference. The network effect is when the masses come there. Why am I so excited about Solana? Why do I like Solana so much, right? Why was I promoting Solana to my community from when it was like $2? Why? Why was I telling everyone, buy Solana, buy Solana, buy Solana? Why? Right? Because what I saw was the network effect. The number of holders didn't really matter, but the number of users. And as they increased and all the meme coins and all the NFTs and this and that came on, people just went bonkers. People were actually, there was so many developers on there building and doing all sorts of scam projects, obviously. But the point is, they all came there. They flew there. That changed everything. That's like, whoa, okay, that's got a chance. So that's what you got to look at. Where are the builders going? Follow the builders. We normally say we follow the money. Well, here in this particular scenario, we don't need to follow the money because that's pretty simple. You can buy whatever you want, whenever you want. Some people may pay $10,000 for something someone else paid $100. You know what I mean, right? It just depends what time you got in. So we can't really look at the money. There's no point following that money. If you want to follow any money, follow the investors and the institutional money that comes in. That's a different story, right? But we're not following the money here. We're following the builders, because the builders are important. If we have masses of builders come to Flair, and Songbird would be a good indication. If we see masses of developers coming to Songbird and building, we know they're coming to Flair, right? We know they're coming to Flair. So we want to be on Flair. Does that make sense? Because that's when it's going to push. That's when the innovation starts, right? That's when people start coming out with new projects, new technologies, new ideas and whatnot, crazy, right? And probably a whole bunch of scammers as well. Believe me, 90% plus are going to be scammers anyway, right? But it's going to bring, the scammers are going to bring projects and this and that, which some of them will or basically at some stage become legit, right? If there's enough community out there, even the scammer can't scam you and get out, because it will just be taken over and all of a sudden the project could still be alive. So those are the things I'm looking at, right? Especially when I'm looking at Songbird, Flare, and XRP, right? I think it will be a good idea to be on Flare as early as possible, right? If you do it now or if you do it in the future, that's a whole different story. It's entirely up to you. If you do it now, are you going to make money? No financial advice. I think you will. How much? I don't know, right? If you buy a Songbird, are you going to make money? Of course, I think you will, but how much? I don't know. Again, no financial advice. You know, we do have a rough idea what targets we have for XRP, and I've talked about it before. XRP was like 40 or 50 cents when we set a target for 125. We hit that target. Then the next target for us was 198. We're going to go to that. We're at 150 something right now. Let me just have a quick look. What are we on right now? 146. So we did go to 150 something, and we took a little bit of a dip, but we talked about what the dip means, right? Because BTC was overbought on the 3-day, and we knew that BTC is going to take a little bit of a dump. And if it does take a bit of a dump, some of the coins will dump a little bit harder. We talked about it, but none of that matters, because I earlier on today I mentioned this as well. If BTC decides to go down for a few days, and even if it goes to 90k, I'll be the happiest guy on the planet if it goes to around 90k. Why? Because if it goes to 90k and it stabilizes, then I think the dominance that Bitcoin has held for the last few weeks or whatever, this current parabola that it did, that dominance will then shift into some of the altcoins, and that means the altcoins will have a running chance, right, to actually get to their previous all-time highs, because a lot of them are suffering. They haven't gone to their all-time high, and that's what I want to see, because BTC's done it. It was like, okay, fine, you've led the market, shut up and just sit back, let the others move, right? But that's not happening. I'm concerned. I mentioned this yesterday as well, that, you know, we're at 3 point something trillion dollars, but we were at $3 trillion 4 years ago, right, or 3 years ago. So and we had less coins then, and we got more coins now, and when we're nowhere near where we need to be, right? So I think that we should be around $4 to $5 trillion right now if the entire market starts moving the way we want it to. So that's what I'm looking for, right? And I'm hoping that we get to a stage where the altcoins can actually recover and start pumping towards the direction we want them to. So that should be something interesting. I mean, look, BTC at 97,800. I'm not excited, honestly. I want to see Ethereum above 3,500, maybe even 3,900, maybe even 4,000. That's a good number, because that's a good indication that the market has decided that, okay, we want to start the altcoin season. Because we can say technically we're in the season, because technically we're still moving there. We are creating positive numbers, right? So as long as there's a positive output, it's okay. But I want to see a parabola. I want to see what BTC just did recently, right? How it went all the way almost down to 40 something K, right? You know, I think it was 48, 49,000, and then it shifted and it doubled itself, literally a 1x, right? That's what we want to see. We want to see Ethereum, Solana, XRP, all of them, boom, 1x, 1x, 2x, right? We want to see these massive numbers, right? 100% up, right? Those are the numbers we're looking for. And in order for us to see these kind of numbers, we need BTC to just sit back, take the back seat for a minute and just like, right, relax, dude. We don't need you to move anymore, right? We don't need all that nonsense, because, you know, when you talk about crypto to anyone, believe me, you can test it out, by the way. Just go to anybody and say, have you heard of crypto? And they'll be like, yeah. And like more often than not, most people will say, yeah, Bitcoin. You could be talking about anything and they'll talk about Bitcoin, because that's the only name they know. That's the only name they've ever heard before. Do you know what I mean? Because people refer crypto or cryptocurrency to Bitcoin, right? But we need to give Bitcoin a backseat, right? Right now, what we want to see is some of these other alts to start moving. Right? And in order for those to move, we need BTC to settle down, right? You just stayed here. And saying that, I'm not saying in a bad way, right? Understand this. If BTC settles down at 90k, then I can assure you it has a higher chance of going to 180k, right? But if BTC now decides to push towards 100k, 120, 130k, we've got a problem on our hands, because the others haven't recovered, and this thing will dump hard. Right? Because the big boys out there, the whales out there, they're going to take the profit, right? Because remember, if you don't take the profit, someone else is going to take your profit. So if the whales come in and they decide to dump on everybody, they'll crash the entire market. Because if BTC moves down by 1%, other coins bleed out by 4, 5, 6%, some of them even more, right? And that's a problem. That's a problem. So you've got to understand this. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut for a bit. If you guys have a question, please do let me know. Of course, if it's within my capacity to answer, I will definitely answer. There are plenty of coins out there. I know a lot of people like to talk about. I'm not going to do shout outs on coin and this and that. This particular subject was related to what Faisal asked me earlier on. And I think he just recently discovered Songbird. So I wanted to explain to him what Songbird really means for us and what it is, how it even came about, right, and what kind of technology it uses. So, you know, Songbird, yes, it was commissioned, right? So you have to understand it's commissioned by XRP. Flair is XRP, and it's made there to give XRP the smart contract functionality that it requires. However, they one-upped it, right? They've created such a great network that it allows, right, other blockchains to also interact and actually build smart contracts on there. So you can literally build a smart contract for Bitcoin, right? Do DeFi, whatever, on the Flare network for Bitcoin, right? That changes everything. So Faisal says, how's things, Sham, in your life at the moment? Hopefully more positive, brother. You mentioned you were going through a bad patch. Better now? No, it's not better. I'm still going through a bad patch, right? It's not going to change, right? So, you know, I've had a bit of a disaster. That's not going to change, right? Nothing's going to change that. You know, unless someone drops £1 million, right, for me to solve. That's kind of currently my problem requires about £1 million, right? So unless someone drops £1 million, you know, some what do you call him? What do you call him? I forgot. There's a name for it, right? You know, where someone just comes in and just gifts it to you. So unless I get someone just basically come in, drop £1 million to me, it's not going to solve my problem. I literally have £1 million problem, right? So it's stressful, but you know what, I'm not going to let that put me down. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's been hard, especially like at home with family and everything as well. It's been hard, plus losing my business didn't help, because at least that was a stable income. Don't have that, so it's been really hard for me in that sense that I don't have a job, right? So actively in the UK, I am looking for a job. So if you know anybody who's looking for someone who's very old school, and does technical analysis on cryptocurrency and stocks and bonds, right, by all means, give me a shout, right? But other than that, I'm just doing what I need to do, right, to get by. But as I said, you know, it's a problem, but I'm not going to let it go, put me down. I'm working on something right now. If things work out well, right, if things work out well, as I've planned, then it's not going to solve my problem tomorrow, right? Let's be honest about it. I'm a macro guy, right? So I'm kind of planting seeds right now into certain areas and certain different business ventures. Let's just say business ventures. Hopefully, I should get a payout in about 5 years, right? So whatever's invested within that time should come back and solve all my problems within 5 years. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I am kind of taking it easy, not stressing too much about it, because the more you think about it, the more stressful it gets, right? You know, I just had like a string of events, right? You know, misfortunate or unfortunate events, right? Which yeah, kind of affected me in a bit, but it is what it is. I'm not going to moan about it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to open a GoFundMe or whatever. I've seen someone recently do it, actually. They had a bit of an issue, which was quite nice. I thought that was quite nice. In fact, I actually donated, not much. I only donated like 20 quid. But they opened up a GoFundMe because they got into a bit of a trouble. They shared it only with friends and family, by the way. So they, like, the friend and family circle, it was on WhatsApp, right? There was about 300 people there. They shared it to them. They said, look, I'm in a bit of a trouble. If you guys could chip in, right? I won't give you anything, but if you guys could chip in, that will solve my problem. And it wasn't much anyway. It was a small amount of money, like 20 or 30 grand, something like this. And the person did a GoFundMe, and everyone chipped in like 10, 20, 30 quid. And a few other people gave a little bit more. To the point where I think he got like most of it. He didn't get all of it, but most of it. So yeah, it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal, you know. But my problem can't be sorted with GoFundMe. So it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Right. If there's any other questions, guys, please do let me know. I mean, market-wise, we're currently sitting at $3.26 trillion. This is based on what TradingView is giving. We don't have the actual data. Remember this, I talked about this as well. when we're looking at the total market cap, when we're looking at the total 2, when we're looking at the total 3, these are the data that TradingView is giving to us, right? So these are not the entire data, because there are plenty of coins that they're not tracking, right? So we have to take it with a pinch of salt. But just by looking at it, 3.29, that's a positive thing, not too concerning. It isn't showing any signs of dipping, even though BTC has dipped from $99,000, because it went almost close to 100,000. It dipped a little bit, which is fine. It just got a little bit of a rejection, probably a few liquidations here and there. But even with it being down at 97, when I'm seeing 3.259 or 2 point, yeah, just say 3.2, just easier number, trillion dollars, that means some of the alts are coming back. There's a whole bunch of alts out there that we're probably not tracking because we're not trading them or whatever. Because remember, there's millions and millions of altcoins out there. Some of them are performing right now, right? So when I'm looking at TradingView, I don't see all of them other than the ones that I've obviously listed myself. But I think a lot of these coins are now coming back, and they are holding that total market cap. So that's what you have to understand. Ethereum is currently at 3,400. It is trying, so I'm going to give it. It is definitely trying. If it gets there, that's a different story. I don't know, but I hope it does, right? But it is trying to get to that $3,500 level that we have. It's a very small resistance. It's not even a resistance. I think as soon as we can break that, then we can test the 3,900, which does have a 3,900 to 4,100. There's a major resistance there. That's the only resistance. After that, it's all-time high again, right? And then we can start testing brand new all-time highs, right? So that's what I'm looking at. I know that we have a brother who holds a whole bunch of Crow, and Crow has done something good. In fact, as long as, like this week, if we can stay above 18 cents for Crow, then that's a milestone, right? That means we've closed on a positive, and then next week we can, provided the market stays there, we can start looking at the higher numbers, which is like the 48 cents. And then after 48 cents, it's just 99 cents. And after 99 cents, wherever, it leads to, however high it goes to. So those are good things, like, as long as we can close above a certain number. So that's a good thing. I talked about Say the other day as well. Say needs to stay above 50 cents. If it can hold above 50 cents, it's fine. I don't really care how high it pumps. If it doesn't close a candle at that level, it's got a problem. You know what I mean? And I've talked about it all the time. So this is why we need candles to close above certain levels in order for us to be a little bit more positive, right? That's what I'm looking at. But other than that, look, I think the market has a great chance right now. Even though we are seeing a little bit of a dip here and there, I think the market has a massive chance to take, right, the spotlight off BTC. The entire market against BTC. And we may have some rising, the shining stars in there, right? It could be Ethereum, it could be XRP, it could be Solana, right? It could be Sui, it could be one of these exchanges, it could be BNB. I don't know. But what I'm saying, BNB is already pumping. It's at 651 now. But what I'm saying is, it could be any one of them that could actually lead, right? Lead the rest of them to new all-time highs, if not at least the previous all-time high, because that's our biggest milestone. If we can have a lot of these coins come and tap or touch or do whatever they need to do to the previous all-time high, things will be looking very interesting. And I can with most confidence turn around and say, we can say hello to $10 trillion total market cap, if not more, right? Because it just changes everything, the mindset. And I don't even know what to say, but it does change everything. And I'm just excited, as much as I'm afraid, because I believe me, whenever the market starts to get too green, I'm afraid. I'm one of those, I'm very cautious when the market goes green. However, when the market is bloody, I'm excited, right? So right now, when I see the market is like is green, right, and just wants to keep on moving up, but the alts haven't moved, that was concerning. And I've put that forward to everybody. I said, look guys, I am concerned, but if I start seeing the alts move and balance everything out, then I'm fine, right? Then I could even be in a situation where I might even be like undecided, right? I wouldn't have a clue what the market wants to do, because that's the worst thing. Anybody who does technical analysis, right, or when we're kind of doing technical predictions, right? The worst place to be in is when you don't know, like, and that's happened to me once or twice before, and I've you know, openly mentioned it on Discord and this and that. I said, guys, I don't know. We're in a place where I don't know. And this is funny. The last time it happened was when BTC was going down, and then there was this one moment where I was unsure. I was like, guys, I don't know if BTC is going to go up or down because of the pattern I'm seeing. I cannot predict, right? And I was completely open about it, honest about it. So I cannot predict. And then as soon as the upside signals came in, immediately I'm on the thing. I was like, right, guys, everybody, I think we've got XYZ amount of time. We're going to move forward. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I'm kind of still going by as well. Earlier on, I think someone asked me on Discord, how is everything looking? I think I've kind of touched on it a little bit. BTC and a handful of coins, but especially I'm going to stick to BTC, was showing overbought on the 3-day. So for that RSI, stochastic RSI, to come back and reset could take another 3 to 6 days, right? It could take another 3 to 6 days, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And when I saw the other altcoins that we're tracking, right, you know, specifically the person was asking about XRP, I'm only seeing upside. Even though BTC is showing bloody and a few other coins showing a little bit bloody, that they are going to reset for a bit, maybe take a breather. Other coins are showing there's still enough room to grow. Other coins are still saying that they still want to push forward and move forward, which is freaking brilliant, right? Because that gives us that opportunity to get to those higher levels while everything else is bleeding. And that's what we need to see. We need to see this counterbalance, right? Where if you know, markets going down, some coins, they are resilient. They don't give a damn what's happening. They just want to push forward because the math says they have to push forward. And that's what I want to see. That's the resilience I want to see. Honestly, I'm not even joking, right? Right now on x.com, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys know Ash from Wall Street Bets. So he's just posted BTC dominance is dropping. Of course, that's what we want to see, because the other day we went to 61%, right? Which is bad. Currently at 59. Okay, we've dropped by 2%. It's not a big deal, but it's a good improvement, right? It's not what we want to see, because we want to technically, if we want to see the entire market move, let me be honest with you, I'm factoring in the number of coins, say like 3-4 million coins out there on the planet with this, all the scam coins, because 99% of them are scams anyway. But the point I'm making here is I want to see BTC dominance. Price where it is, that's fine, I don't really care. But the dominance, 10-15%. If imagine BTC dominance could be at 10. We were talking about 10 trillion. I would say expect a $20 trillion coin market cap. $20 trillion, right? If not more. That's how amazing the power of dominance is, right? Because even now 59% is close to 60%. That's not good. That's one coin against everybody else. That's bad. That's bad, right? If we want to see other coins move forward, we actually need BTC dominance to come down, because that proves that other coins are now taking some of that dominance. And I welcome other coins to come and take it, because that means we're going to make higher gains. Also, guys, let me know if the audio is good enough or not, right? Because I am kind of a little bit of a distance from my usual location, and I am kind of talking down. This is not my normal position, because I normally do landscape, and I promised Victor yesterday that I will do a this type of a portrait mode live stream. So here I am. I'm a man of my word, and I keep my promises. So, but yeah, definitely there's opportunities out there for us, massive opportunities. All right. Faisal says audio is fine. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback, because that's what helps me. By the way, guys, my name is Sham. This is Zero X Files. The truth is always out there. This video or this particular channel is very unique. I can assure you, you will not find another one quite like it, right? We talk about crypto, we talk about it, but I'm kind of unfiltered, and I'll just put it out there. So whatever it is there. Crypto to me is very personal, because that's the only thing I understand better than anything else. And decentralization, I love it, right? I love decentralization. So for me, when it comes to talking about cryptocurrency, decentralization, I definitely get excited. And hence why, even though the channel is called 0x5s and the idea was to launch many or actually do different stuff like documentary stuff and this and that, probably like some production quality stuff, I still come back to crypto. So I'm still doing crypto, even though there's so many other things I want to do. I want to do cooking, I want to do this, like this channel was, for me, was going to be everything, but I still come back to crypto. And most of my community members have suggested to do other stuff, but I still come back to crypto, you know what I mean? So, but what you'll get from me is unfiltered, my honest opinions, right? I may not be 100% correct all the time, but I'm okay to put my hands up and say, you know what, I could be wrong, right? And I don't think that you, like, for me, the way I promote things is like, I don't listen to me, right? Or don't listen to influencers. I want you to make that decision. So you probably noticed that I've talked about charts here, but I haven't showed you a single chart, right? You probably know, what's this guy talking about? No, my trading view is right there. My trading view is right there in front of me. I'm literally in my car, but that's my trading view right there in front of me, so I can see the entire market. But when I'm telling you the levels, the this, that, whatever on the market, I want you to go and do it yourself, because last thing I want you to do is get your dopamine, get your 5-minute fix or whatever, and then forget about it because now you're on another channel, right? That's what's going to happen, because you're going to leave this channel, you're going to flip over to another channel, and then you forgot everything. I could have made a good point, I could have talked about a certain level, you forgot because you didn't actually practice it yourself. So so look, if you disagree with me, let me know, hit that thumbs down. If you agree with me, hit that thumbs up. I do appreciate it. I'm trying to get the algorithms kicking. Also, I don't know if there are some links in the description. If there is, there should be one that says all my links. We do have a Discord community. You can go and join there, but it's up to you. It doesn't cost anything. And that's where I normally have conversations with the community. So I know when I'm talking, like a lot of you guys that have probably popped up right now thinking, well, who's this guy talking to? What's he talking about? For me, all my videos have always been for my community. So if YouTube and the world gets to view them and see them and get some benefit or whatever, even some comedy out of it, then by all means, I have no objection to that. But my videos are always intended to answer the questions that the community give to me, and my community lives on Discord. Right, so I'm sure you probably gathered that by now. So even if one man asks me a question, I will come on a live if I have to, right, and answer that question, right, because I know that there are a few people who might find benefit from this. You know, what happens afterwards, it's none of my business, don't need to know. But yeah, any other questions, my guys? Any other questions? You guys carry on, or if you have a question, type away, let me know. I'm gonna vape a little bit. I'm sure YouTube doesn't allow this, right? Tobacco use, alcohol use, whatever, but I don't do alcohol anyway. But tobacco use, this is not tobacco, this is vape, this is just smokes, right? It's just freaking smokes. So sometimes, you know what, it's stressful, right? Like now I'm doing a live stream, I can see 4 or 5 people non-stop like being there, but I've only got one guy talking to me. That's stressful. I don't know what's going on. So, you know, as a streamer, it makes me quite uneasy sometimes, right? I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's going in your head? What are you really thinking? What do you think when you come onto this stream, right? And if you have come onto the stream, are you just sitting there for like 2 seconds and then just going? Because I know what this is. This stream is currently on the YouTube Shorts, whatever. So is someone just scrolling and just moving on? I want to know. That makes me curious, because doing a landscape one, at least I know who my target audiences are. Right now, I don't know. This is the wild, wild west for me, right? So it would be quite nice if someone comes and tells me what's really going on, you know what I mean? So, listen, guys, we're here, right? Ninjas, faces of ninjas. Yeah, all of them are ninjas. Everyone's a ninja. Don't be a ninja. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. If you've got a question or whatever, if you've got something crypto related, right? listen, I'll give you the most unbiased and the most honest, most brutal, right? The brutally honest opinions regarding crypto, regarding, you know, what you should hold, what you should buy, when you should sell. I'll be honest about it, right? Because end of the day, what you have to understand is whatever advice I give you, I'm not going to get anything out of it. If you end up making $1 million here, I'm not getting anything out of it. But if I can advise you to cash out and take that $1 million, right, at a good time, then you've benefited. Do you know what I mean? And I'm happy to tell you this. That's what it is. So if there is something crypto related you want me to talk about, or you want me to answer, or you want me to give you an opinion, by all means, right? The only thing I'm kind of staying away from, I used to do it before, I'm staying away from, is when people do, oh, can you talk about this coin? Can you talk about, I'm kind of staying away because there's just so many coins, right, out there. It's hard for me to remember all of them, and it's even harder for me to pick and research whatever. That's not me, right? Can't do that. But legacy coins, if someone talks about legacy coins, yes, I have my love and hate relationship with a lot of them, right? Including Bitcoin. I have my love and hate relationship, right? So, you know, legacy coins I can talk about because that's what I'm familiar with, you know. Of course, there are new projects that come on, and of course, oh yeah, this is the other thing I was going to mention as well, right? Obviously, I've mentioned how XRP funded Flare Network, right, or funded Songbird, right? I've mentioned this, right, and how they think. I was going to explain something else as well. So what you'll find is a lot of these projects, right, the development group or the companies who develop are kind of interconnected, right? So let me explain this to you, for example. So the company who created, or the founders who created Optimism, right? This is Optimism, right? OP. So they created Optimism. They started building private blockchains, right, for institutions, right? Which is something Ethereum was already doing anyway. They were doing institutional grade blockchains for private users anyway. So Optimism started to do that, and Coinbase, everyone knows Coinbase. Coinbase decided to pay, commission Optimism to build the base network using the Optimism protocol. Think about that. So Base, you're currently using Base coin on the Base network and XYZ, but it's actually technically Optimism. It's a copy of Optimism, and Optimism built it for them. Of course, they don't own any rights over it, but they built it. So similar way, what you'll find is if there is a good technology out there, right, many of the legacy coins will kind of reach out to that new technology or the founders or the creators of that technology and adopt that as their own, right, under their own brand, like a white label thing. So understand this. This is something that also happens, which is fine. There's no harm in that. I don't see anything wrong with that. But that's what will happen. I mean, why reinvent the wheel? So that's what it is, you know. So whatever technology layer Flair is using, whatever technology layer Songbird is using, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's XRP. To my opinion, it's XRP, and it does bring a lot of benefit. You know, as I said, a lot of benefit. Faisal says, what number do you think you need to reach to achieve financial freedom in the UK? I know you can't say specifics, but rough number. What is that? What you want my number for me, or you're talking in general? What number anyone needs? Because it totally depends on the person and what they know. So sometimes, you know, we say, like, you know, there's this old saying, like, you know, it's not what you do, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Because sometimes if you know somebody who's connected in this and that, they can help you. Similar way, in this one, it's what you know, right? So if you know how to do certain things, you know, a couple of 100,000 is enough. Whereas if you're limited to how much knowledge you have regarding finances and how to work your money, so we're talking about working your money. If you have limited knowledge about working your money, maybe you might say 5, 10 million, 20 million, right? But if you have some idea, you don't need millions. You only need a very small amount of money to get that ball rolling, right? Get that engine moving, right? And as soon as you get that engine moving, you can't stop it. It might take 2-3 years for that final turn to come along. But once it starts churning, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So it depends. If this question is for me personally, right, then I've already said to you, I need £1 million. £1 million will accelerate what I'm planning to do in the next 5 years. So you see, I've kind of already answered that question. So I said, what I'm planting now, the seeds I'm planting now, should pay me off in 5 years. Similar way, right? And I'm doing this with a limited fund. Now, if I had £1 million right now, then I could put that into motion and accelerate this and have it done within a year. Does that make sense, right? So yeah, I can talk about it. It's not an issue, but it, as I said, it totally depends on your understanding of how you can churn more with finances, right? Because you need to, I mean, listen, there's a point where you need to break away, right? So there's a time where you need money, right? So we need money to break out of this kind of, I don't know, this, what, I don't even know what to call it. Like, you know, there's this limit, there's this box. Think about it, it's like a box. You're inside this room, whatever, right? This life, whatever. To break away from that, to get that financial freedom, you need to be above that. When you hit above that, and now your money's working for you, so as long as you're working for money, right, you can't break away. That's not financial freedom. When your money starts working for you and you don't have to work anymore, right, and your money is now returning back maybe 5% a year, and then as you grow, you compound, and it now becomes 10% a year, and then you compound a little bit more, and it's probably 20% a year, and then each year you're constantly trying to double how much returns you're getting, right? And you can start off with 100 grand, for example. In 5 years' time, you should double to the point where now you've doubled your initial investment. So now you can go in big and let that churn big and just repeat the same method, right? So every year you're targeting to make double whatever profits you're aiming for. And once that thing starts churning, and I'm giving you a brief thing, just a vague thing, but once it starts to churn, 1 million to turn into 10 million shouldn't take that long. Right? You know, honestly, what would you say people should pivot to in terms of sectors and investments after this run and people make gains? Non-crypto, my brother, to be honest, two things I'm going to say. Cash is king. So you need to have, like, whatever money you make. So this is my strategy anyway, right? And I'm being completely transparent here, right? Let's do a nice little rounded number. Let's just say I made $1,000. If I made $1,000, I'm going to keep 500 of that dollars, right, stashed away in a bank. I won't touch it, savings, whatever. Just leave it there. I won't even touch that. That's my rainy day money, and I'll explain the rainy day money, right? It's rainy day for what? I'll explain this. So I'm just going to leave that aside. The other 500 I've got, if I did want to invest, I would put it into something stable. Again, something stable but accessible, right? Now, if you've got large funds, I'll put it into a building or some sort of an asset there, right? But it should be accessible. And accessible means if I need to get rid of my funds, right? If I need to get rid of the funds, liquidate it, and then get back into something else, I'm able to do that quickly. So the best options that I would look at is like bonds, shares, and this and that investments. But again, I'm going to look for the low risk ones, right? Especially dividend paying ones. So something that pays me a bit of a dividend as well. So I'm not really losing out. Those are the kind of stuff I'll be looking at. Of course, if I'm looking at a 5-year horizon, then I'll probably look at a property, right? A building, a brick and mortar, right? You know, buy a property and try and get some rental income, whatever. It is kind of still, we're able to liquidate it, but it's a little bit more complex, right? Because you can't instantly liquidate it. But however, bonds, shares, stocks, you can technically instantly liquidate it, right? So the money comes back to you. Now, why do we need that money? Why do we need our funds to be liquid? Just for the sake of it. We're going into a bear market blow off top, whatever, non-crypto, and we come to a situation where everything bleeds out, because all markets, doesn't matter what market it is, they have their ups and downs. Some might last 4 years, some might last 10 years, some might last 20 years, right? You know, property, this, that, whatever. Everything goes up until it doesn't, right? And when it doesn't, it goes down, right? So if I have liquid capital available, then I could snipe, I could buy whatever I need to and restart this. And the target for me would be at that time is, if I've put, just for the sake of it, if I put $1,000, I want to make $2,000, right? So it's always about whatever I put in, my goal should be double that amount. Return should be double that amount. Does that make sense, right? You know, I know a lot of people, like on stable stuff, if I've got a 10-year horizon, then I'm looking for as stable as possible. I want 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, maybe 5%. I want that, right? Because I'm planning to hold that funds for a longer period of time. But if I want to be in and out, right, it means I want to be able to snipe whenever I want. I need it to be liquid. So I know I went in a long one, but I hope that kind of explains. I wouldn't lock it down anywhere. If I'm going to be playing this game and I want to have a good life and I want complete financial freedom, honestly, I will not, right, lock it down anywhere. No way. It has to be liquid, or at least 75% has to be accessible. If it's not, then I got a problem. But my backup to that is that 50% being stashed away for my rainy day. So remember my rainy day. If I can't liquidate my capital within a certain amount of time, I've got the liquid asset that I can deploy. Do you know what I mean? So that would then help me. Of course, I wouldn't be making much on it, but it's liquid asset, right? That's my stash, and that stash is going to help me when the other ones take a bit of time to liquidate, or any situation, right? Because there's multiple. I might want to sell a property and it might take 6 months. I can't liquidate it. I might want to remortgage, might take 4 weeks, but I need the cash right now. That's where that rainy day fund comes in. So it's not for everyday use. It's there for an emergency, for business purpose, right? So even if my target was to make 1,000 into 2,000, well, doesn't matter. I've got 500. I'm going to try and make 500 into thing. I'm still better off. Do you know what I mean? So as always, dropping great knowledge, bro. I wouldn't call it knowledge. It's just my strategy. I'm pretty nuts when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just the way the mind works. You know what I mean? I mean, look, I've made mistakes. I'm no freaking angel, right? Let me explain this to you. Every time I've gone in to do some sort of a crazy investment or whatnot, right? Let me just see the time as well. Every time I've gone in to do some sort of a crazy investment, whatnot, believe this or not, I'm not even joking. I've gone all in, right? I'm one of those all in, right? It's all or nothing, right? And that decisions that I have made, right? I was younger back then, right? Those decisions that I've made have cost me dearly, because I've never thought, because the way, like, how would I say this? So when you have things going your way, right? You can invest into anything, literally touch anything, and you turn it into gold, right? Or it becomes gold, right? So you realize, like, and I'm talking about like me when I was very young, right? Everything I did was just churning money. So it's like, hold on, money's not the issue. I can make money. We know we can't make money, we can't print money, but it felt like I can make money, right? So I've had that for a very long time, where it's like, okay, I'm going to go and invest into this, I'm going to make money, right? And to be honest, majority of them did make money in the beginning. But the one thing I made a mistake on, right, is I get attached. So I'm teaching you from my mistakes. I get attached. For example, there's a business, it's my bread and butter. I get emotionally attached. And when that happens, I'm now spending more time than I should. So I'll explain what I mean by that. My intention is, so for example, this is a real life example. So this is a fresh, brand new brick and mortar, no licenses, nothing, right? So I've gone in, acquired the premises, applied for all the licenses that I want for that type of business. We got the license. So I'm usually doing it with partnerships. We got the business, we got the licenses, we're now ready to go, and we have a target, we have an exit. So we have a 5-year plan from zero to where we want to get to, and then we have an exit plan. And more often than not, that exit plan didn't work out. And I'll explain various reasons why, because there are some things we control and there are some things we don't control, right? Or things change, circumstances change. So for example, plan is, I want to get this business to this XYZ level. 5 years down the line, I want to sell the business while it's still at its prime, right? Any businesses really do well with exposure in the first 5 years. After that, they settle down. Wherever they need to, they just settle down, because by that time, everyone has pretty much tried you, right? It depends on what kind of business it is, obviously. But it kind of settles down. So 5-year exit plan, you make your money, you get out. That plan worked. A few occasions, really, really worked. You get in, you make your money, you get the hell out, right? Fine, you rinse and repeat, do whatever. But then sometimes what happens, the circumstances that we don't control is, I might have a business partner, but my business partner may be attached. It's like, oh, bro, but I gotta leave this and I gotta go and do it all over again. But I'm comfortable here. Maybe I can buy you out. So we have a problem. That's the attachment, right? Becomes an emotional attachment. Another time, do a business XYZ, whatever. Business partners, a few of them, they all decide to move out and literally buy houses near to the business. So they left where they used to live, took their entire family to another. So now it becomes a moral issue. Now, okay, I want to sell, you guys don't, but you guys just literally moved your entire family here. Is it morally correct for me to now just dump and go, all right, you know what, sod it? Because I know if I sold it outside, I would have got XYZ. But I'm not, right? So fine, you want to shoot yourself in the foot, it's fine. So those are the kind of things, like, and what I mean by that, look, for example, like easily I could turn around and say, all right, okay, we've invested 100K, businesses made 500K. I want the valuation done. If it's 500K, if it's a mil, then I want 1/3 of that, or I want half of that. I could easily say that, but sometimes, you know what, you can't say that, especially with friends, family, and cousins, and other people that you work with. You don't. You just take your money that you invested, and of course, you've already made a whole bunch of profit anyway, so you move away. So those are the kind of issues that there are, and there's plenty more, right? Plenty more. So that's what I've realized. So for me, I've kind of trained myself. So, right, and this is when crypto came into my life as well. So this is around 2015. I started to train myself in a way where I don't have emotion anymore. There are some that, okay, I've invested XYZ and then I've left it there, and it literally becomes like a place I can go to, right? Imagine you had multiple locations around UK, because we're in UK. You had multiple locations where you can just pop in whenever you want. All the staff, they don't have a clue who you are, but they know that you're always welcome, right? So you can just pop in wherever you want. You can just walk into a restaurant, takeaway, whatever, right? And, some sort of a place, right? You can just walk in, sit down, have a meal, have a cup of coffee, talk with the bosses or whatever who was there, and then just go away without paying anything. And people will think, oh, hold on, who's this guy? I'm one of the founders. Let's just put it this way, one of the founders. I might not be an owner. There's a difference between being an owner, being an employee, and being a founder. I could be a founder. So that option is something that I quite like, because it gives me that flexibility to know people in multiple areas. I can just go and sit there and just chill out, It doesn't pay. I mean, sometimes you might get 50 quid a month, right? But that's because the business is so old that it's settled down, that it's not earning much. Could I ask them for anything? No. Oh, you buy me out with what? You know what I mean? So there's moral obligations and other stuff as well. So things are not easy, especially when you're dealing with friends, family, and this and that. It's not easy. But I've learned how to not be attached anymore. I've learned to not have any emotions anymore. If it's gone, it's gone. If you lose it, you lose it. But you got to figure out how to get back again. And that's where my whole idea of like planting seeds and investments in strategical investments in multiple locations comes in. And I'm trying to build on that. If I can, should be good. For example, there's a project, and I can tell you this right now, there's a project I'm working to set up. But there's another person involved who's being very difficult to get hold of. But he's like, when you're connecting dots, he is one of the dots. You have to connect him in order for this whole thing to work. If he's connected, and if I can secure him down, right, this particular business, me doing nothing, literally, I don't have to lift a finger, it basically becomes like automated, and there's a minimum number I've calculated. Based on that minimum number, it brings in like 2.4 million pounds a year. All you need is a location. Obviously, you need a location, and you need a couple of people to just run the place, because those people are going to be qualified to run the place. So me being the owner, I don't even have to be qualified, because I'm just the owner, just the founder, right? I get qualified people, pay them a wages, and it churns 2.4 mil, right? From day one. 2.4 mil a year, basically. And that's just with the minimum number of clients. If I up that client, so now if I have multiple locations, if I decide to go north of London, or say in England, north of England, south of England, whatever, I decide to open 4 branches, or multiply 2.4 times 4, that's 10 mil. Do you know what I mean? Right? And that's just with the minimum number of clients. Now, of course, if I increase the client, that's a whole different number. So you know, there are those kind of things as well. You want to do something, sometimes you got to go and bow down to somebody else, like, bro, I need your help. So you need that. So, you know, that's the kind of situation where it's not what you know, it's who you know. So that one is who I know is more helpful to me. So that connection is more important than what I know. I can have millionaires come and dump money, but that's not going to work, right? It's who I know. I know that person is the key to that success for that business. So I need that person to give me the go ahead, or at least sign the dotted line, right? As soon as they sign the dotted line, boom, I'm ready to roll with that. That's a good one. You know, you can sit back, relax, and earn a shitload of money. Of course, there's many other costs involved. It's not like, you know, you're going to make 2.4 million. No, that's just an idea. But again, that's part of those planting seeds. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just one thing, there's many things, right? There's another thing that I think I've spoken to a few people. We're looking into like buying properties, right? But not just buying, like me buying properties. It's a collaboration between multiple people, right? Where we have massive amount of funds pool together. So it's like a pool of funds. We get that together and then we go and we buy properties, right? No man owns the properties, owned by a company. So end of the day, whatever the returns, like, because these are all rental properties, so the rental income, if there is some left, because normally the number one priority is make sure your mortgages and your expenses are paid for. Once all of these are paid for, because you want to rinse and repeat, once they're all paid for, if you have a couple £100, you start saving that, and then you pay out from that, and you pay little dividends out of that, right? Most people don't even want the profit, like myself. I don't even want the profit, because the idea is if we can build, and we can build it to a point where one property becomes two properties and two becomes four, and you just keep on doubling, right? Yeah, it might be a long-term project, but if it pays off at the end, why not? It's not one of those that's going to make you rich very quickly, and the assets are not liquid because of the way we're doing it. If it was myself, then yeah, that would be liquid asset, right? Or I would have some sort of a way of liquidating it. But because it's a pool and multiple people are involved, that's not liquid. But it's a seed that I've planted, which should pay me off, because all it has to do is multiply, right? The target is you multiply the business, whoever's managing it right now. There's someone managing it. You manage it, multiply. Make my 5k into 10k, make my 10k into 20k. Do that. Keep on doing that until I get to a level where I'll be like, okay, mate, I need to cash out now. Then things get a bit interesting, right? You know, but even then, I won't pressure anybody. It's going to be done in a very simple way, let's just say a simple way. So that should be quite interesting, if that works out, right? Again, it's part of the plan. If it works, it works. I have spoken. So yeah, if there is any other question, let me know. I mean, look, what I've said here, please, none of this is financial advice, because ultimately you have to make the right call, right? You have to make the right call. Yeah, you have to make the right call. Like, whatever you do, you have to do this. Don't, like, whatever things I've succeeded in, you may not succeed. Whatever things I've failed in, you may not fail. You know what I mean? So what happened to me, you can't relate to that. That may not happen to you. That's what I'm trying to say. So some of the plans that work for me may not work for you, right? So I always say it's all based on individual circumstances, right? Your risk tolerance, how much could you afford to lose, right? And if you lose, can you bounce back, right? There's so many different, so these are individual like circumstances, individual tolerance levels, so many different things. So do understand this. So, you know, whether it's crypto, bonds, shares, stocks, property, business, whatever, it's all depending on the individual circumstances, you know? So yeah, think about it, because, you know, that's one of the reasons why I can't say anything that you could actually, you might be able to relate to at some stage or some point, right? But you should never ever take this as a financial advice or anything like this, because, you know, my performance isn't going to be your performance, and your performance isn't going to be mine, right? And past performance is definitely not going to dictate what the future performances are going to be. Do you know what I mean? So I may have done really well in the past, I might not do as well in the future, right? Or vice versa. You know what I mean? So you got to understand all of these things. But whatever you do, always make sure like you have to have complete risk tolerance, like risk management, right? You need to understand that any investments that you do, whether it be property, crypto, bonds, shares, whatever, right? Whatever, business, whatever, you know, even a freaking car, right? Wherever you go and invest money, you know, you chuck money, you throw money, wherever you do, remember that you shouldn't invest more than you can afford to lose. That's a simple rule, a very basic. You shouldn't invest more than you can afford to lose. Right? If you can't afford to lose it, take a step back and say, well, actually, today is not my day because I can't afford to lose that. I'm going to take a step back. I might come back tomorrow when I can afford to lose it. And there is no wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. You can always come back later and deal with it. Yes, maybe if you jumped in, like for example, I mentioned about a friend who's I've been consulting for the last couple of days, who wants to buy BTC at $100,000, right? That person knows about Bitcoin since it was, I think it was about $1,700, something silly like this, right? He knows about it, but he wasn't in a position to lose $1,700. Think about this. So this is like, I'm talking 2015. So how many years is that? 9 years ago. So 9 years ago, this person wasn't in a position to lose $1,700. Can you imagine that? That was his life then. He wasn't in a position, and I respect him for that. 9 years down the line, he's in a position that he can lose 100 grand. Isn't that freaking amazing, right? So he's willing to lose 100 grand. So that's what you have to understand. Like, what's your risk level and what can you afford to lose? And if you can't afford to lose it, do not invest, right? Your priorities are whatever life you have right now, whatever bills you're paying right now, whatever other commitments that you have now. In life, right? The everyday stuff that you've been doing for the past 1 year, that's still your priority. That is your number one priority. In fact, if you did come about a little bit of money, extra money, right? So you've got a little bit of extra money. Do you know what you should be doing? Saving it up for a rainy day for that same purpose, just in case, right? You need to do that, because if you don't, like, one thing a lot of people will do, right? So people earn money and this and that, but check this out. A lot of people don't have a rainy day fund, and a real rainy day fund. I'm not even talking about a joke one, right? A real rainy day fund. They don't have enough money to last 6 months if they lose their job. A lot of people don't have that. You should be prioritizing that, okay, if something happens to me, God forbid, I get into an accident, this happens, that happens, I lose my job, whatever, my company that I work for goes bust. Do I have 6 months worth of salary sitting safe, right, that I can actually tap into? Minimum 6 months. If you have more, even better. Do I have 6 months worth before I can do anything? I would recommend do that. Have 6 months worth of salary stashed up. Then if you have excess, now you start thinking, okay, I want to invest, I want to make more. Because now you can take risks, because you know that, okay, worst case, something, I lose my job, coincidentally, I lose my job, whatever, but I still have 6 months worth of salary that I can live off until I find something else. And whatever is on top, this is my excess funds. And this fund, I can now go out and, I can explore, right? And if I lose it, I lose it. Who cares, right? So that's what it is. I know, look, I might be going a little bit deep into zinc, and this, I might be picking on a lot of people's personal things. I don't want to. I have no intention to. I'm just trying to kind of put everything out there, lay all of the lay it all out there, and say, look, these are the probabilities, right? But for me, if I was to recommend someone, if I was to advise somebody, I will always say, like, have 6 months worth of salary set aside, right? Your job is there, everything's there. As whatever life you have right now, think on building that or saving for that before you go into any risk markets, because everything is a risk. Everything's a risk. Like some of the stuff that I'm doing, I know how much risk I'm taking, but I'm only taking risk with the funds that I'm kind of willing to lose. And I say kind of, there's a reason. I'm not in a position to lose anything right now, not after what I've already lost in the last couple of years, right? And I am not in a position. However, right, I'm okay to a certain extent. I'm like, okay, you know what? Okay, I need to take this risk to get to where I need to, right? So it's like a stepping stone for me. And I'm going to give it XYZ amount of time. And within that time, I need to take my initial investment out. So I have this strategy about taking my initial out. If I can take my initial out, technically, I'm not taking a risk anymore, right? Or even if I could take 50% off the market, then I'm not taking a risk anymore. And those are the things that I'm kind of hedging my bets on, basically. So yeah, sorry guys, if there's any other questions or anything, please let me know. Why is there only one guy in the chat? Where's the other guys? Where's everybody else? Where is everybody else? Damn. Bloody hell. It's got filters. It's got bubbles. Freaking hell. All right. Yeah, nothing is better. Faisal, do you have any other question, my brother? Seems like all the other people are probably bots. they're, they're probably bots, so they don't know how to type or react to what I say. But yeah, no, if you have anything else to say, carry on. I am here for another short while. After that, I'm going to go. So I'm going to be here for about another 10-15 minutes max. And then I've got to go because I've got a few bits and bobs I need to do. I did mention I was going to come on about 4 o'clock. I know I was a bit late coming about 4:30, but I needed to go and get some coffee and whatnot, right? So it is what it is. Flare network pumping as we talk, right? So Songbird has dumped around 2%. So it's currently at 0.00901. Nothing too important. Flare network is currently at 0.23416, which is good. So yeah, things are looking good. But of course, the reason it's dumping is because BTC is taking a bit of a dump. Everything else is bleeding. But I still strongly believe, right? I believe me. So take this right at the end, right? I strongly believe that BTC needs to settle down, not do anything for the next couple of days, right? Maybe even a week, while the others actually take a chance at some of that dominance. That's the most important thing. So other than that, it's a long stream, right? And there's no other questions anyway. So I'm not going to go on any longer. I appreciate all of you guys coming to the show, especially some of the visitors who have come and visited. This is my first vertical live stream, but I did promise Victor yesterday that I was going to do a vertical live stream, and this is not going to be the first, probably many more, depending. We'll have a look and we'll see what's going on. We'll look at the data later on. Yeah, if this is something that works for the channel, so I'm not going to say works for you, works for me. I think the viewers are relevant. Me, I'm not so relevant for what this is, but the channel, I want to see it grow, right? So if the channel grows like this, it's a plus for everybody, right? Because that means we get more exposure, more audience, we grow a little bit more. So because we've been kind of stagnant on like 3,300 or something like this, kind of stagnant, you know, the growth is not there. So hopefully brings more people, and some of you guys who have come and visited us today, I hope you like the content, right? I hope you did. If you didn't, that's okay, it's not a problem. But if you can hit that like button, share, maybe even subscribe, that would be freaking awesome. So other than that, I'm going to catch you guys on another one very soon. Hopefully I'll set it up better, I'll frame it better, because I know I've been kind of right there in the middle the whole time, but that's because what I'm using doesn't allow me to put this down. But next time I'll try and frame it a little bit better, so at least I'm up there, not down here somewhere, because I know I'm like in the middle of the screen or something stupid like this, because that's where I should be, but I can't. This thing doesn't bend, so I don't know. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for coming to the show. I will catch you guys on another one very soon. All right, other than that, adios, my amigos.